Welcome to this Maths Heroes video. My name's Christine. This video is going to be a little bit different because it's not about a particular number or anything as such. It's about learning multiplication facts. What I've got here are some examples that I've pulled off from webinars I've attended or, things like that to show you how abstract, in concrete pictorial abstract, how abstract some of the stuff that we show our students is, and do we actually help them to think about it? So I've had these posters up on the wall that someone's left in a classroom. Usually they're too far away for the students to even be able to see them. This multiplication type table here, we had them on the back of our books when I was a kid. If everybody learnt them that way, then we'd all know our multiplication facts brilliantly. It's the end point. It's not the start point. And then we start doing things like we write the words double or double, 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 whatever. And does that actually help our students? Does it give them a framework to actually think about? So for me, it's always about having some sort of an image or a visual with the language so that they can use both to make meaning. Professor Di Seaman, who is the queen of multiplicative thinking here in Australia, he got me thinking about this, and that's where I've developed for my teenage students who were in secondary school. Telling them to memorize wasn't acceptable anymore because they'd already been told that for years and it didn't work. So I had to come up with something better. And that's what we're going to go through today. It's the actual piece of paper, the butcher's paper, a big sheet of butcher's paper. I had 2 of them in my classroom and looked like this. Oops. Need to scroll down a little bit. All right. That's what it looked like. We had 2 of them up. There was this one. And then there was the one with the examples. Today we're just going to make this one. So grab a sheet of paper, grab some texters. You can make it up as we go along as well. It's basically you can't teach someone hate because it's a concept. Just like angry is a concept. You can show them a smiley face with a bit of a zigzag mouth and some furrowed brows. But when we talk about 8, it's a concept. So we have to give them something to hold on to, a framework. So let's get started on this. So they're math strats, but it's actually a framework that I use. And it starts with doubling. So yes, I assume they know ones. Yes, I assume they know zeros. So if you need to put that in there, put that in there as well. That's fine. So you'll notice examples. The more you start to look, the more you'll see that sometimes they'll write multiplying by 2 like that, and sometimes they'll write it like that, especially when you've got games where kids are scoring and stuff like that. But basically, we want them to see that as double, and the picture that goes with that for the framework for their thinking is that. So that's double. Today, we're not going to go through any strategy about adding numbers or what else we could do with it, but that's the picture. 3 groups of anything, multiplying by 3, tripling, right? So triple is double and 1 more group. So it's important it's not and 1 more, it's 1 more group. So the picture for that is that. If I was doing multiplying by 4, my language is double, double. And the picture that goes with that, I've said double, double. So I need 2 horizontal lines, double, double. And that's how I then make my 4 groups. If I was doing 5 of anything, I can say half of 10 groups. So half of 10 groups. Oopsies. So I'll draw that over here. So make sure when you make your own poster, you space it out nicely. And I'm just saying it's half of 10 groups. Hopefully they've been using 10 frames for as long as they can remember at school from when they first started, and you can leverage on that. 6 actually has 2 factors as well as 6 and 1. It also has 2 and 3. So that means I can double 3 groups, which is usually easier than tripling triple, there's no I in that. Tripling two groups. So if I'll do these two pictures side by side. So I'm going to double three groups, or I'm going to triple two groups. Or I could use groups of friendly numbers. So, for example, 5 might be a friendly number. So I could do 5 plus 1 group. Whatever works for your students. 7 being a prime number, I cannot break it up into any factors that are friendly, right, because I've only got 7 and 1. So what I usually say is, and you might have different words for this, is use a turnaround fact. So I turn the number around to something that you might know. So 7 eighths might be 8 sevens. So I know how to do 8 of anything. So, or I might make groups of friendly numbers. So, for example, I might see 7 as 5 and 2 more groups. I might see it as 6 and 1 group. I might see it as 10 take away 3 groups. I might see it as 4 and 4 groups plus 3 groups. It doesn't matter how I see 7. Here is the classic double, double, double. So how many times did I say double? I said it 3 times. So for my box, double, 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 I need 3 horizontal lines. And that's when I can then do all this halving to get 8 groups. First group is a little bit on the wonky side, but it'll do. So that's double, double, double. So that is the scaffolding. That's the framework for their thinking, so that it's not just a test of memory. For 9 groups, could I do triple, triple? Sure I can, but usually 10 groups minus 1 group, away 1 group, is easier. So all I do is I find 10 groups and then I subtract 1 whole group from it. That's usually easier. I could do triple, triple if I wanted to. Finally, lastly, 10, multiplying by 10, I would always do this in the beginning with a slider to show the students how the place value shows up in this example as well. And 10 groups is that 10 frame idea. The 10 frame you can leverage because they've been seeing it since they've probably started school, which is a great thing. I wouldn't teach it last, obviously. I'd probably actually teach it second after doubling. I do, that's what I do. Because I can leverage it in all the other examples there that I've got. I hope you see that this is a framework for thinking for students. Next time we'll go through some of the examples to actually go with this. So the second page that goes with this one that I hung up in my classroom. Everyone is a maths hero, and I hope you've enjoyed this video. I hope it made you think, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one. Bye for now.